Hello, entrepreneurs, dreamers, business owners, and happy people with high hopes. Welcome to Cashflows with your host, Cash Matthews.
All right, hello from the Cashflows podcast today. We're glad you're here. Coming to you from high atop the beautiful Elevate Coworking space here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And happy to be here today with my friend, Mr. Kenneth Bockham. Kenneth, say hello.
Hello.
That's not an official introduction. I have one of those for later. But
thank you.
How are things going in your world?
Man, so far so good. It's been a lot of fun.
It's been a long day.
It has been.
Yeah, tell me about your day real quick.
Well, so we've had some great meetings. We've done a couple of podcast recordings, and had some great food for lunch. Love supporting the local businesses.
Oh yeah, we had barbecue together today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot of good barbecue in Tulsa. I think I just caused 20 of our sponsors to leave.
It's possible. It's possible, but they're not printed on the sign, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, very cool. Well, so the purpose of the podcast Cashflows is to promote an idea called Fire, Aim, Ready. And, in this world of business that we all live in, it's so often that people never get around to doing anything. And whether it's writing that play or writing a book or doing a business or losing weight or taking a trip, so often we just get caught up in the quagmire that's also known as life. And we never get around to doing those things that we genuinely want to do. And in our process, we bring in local business people who have done the thing, who are at least living the dream of entrepreneurship in their own special way, that you might learn from them and that you might be encouraged. So our goal here is to encourage people.
For sure.
All right, so I do want to officially introduce Kenneth Bockham. Let's say your website real quick before we get going.
Yeah, sure. KennethBockham.com. All
right, KennethBockham.com for all of your video and photographic needs. Now, Kenneth, actually, you've got quite a following out there.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, it's the following seems to be growing. I don't know how you guys do internet stuff, but I was at home the other night, and I had my old Commodore 64 out.
Mm-hmm, yep.
And we were doing some things, and
just dialing right on in.
I dialed in, and what had happened is I had an extra. I get those discs from AOL. I don't know if you still get those. I used to give those out as coasters, nice gifts at Christmas. But got a disc in the mail. I think it had been delayed. I don't remember how it got
stuff
here.
Happens.
Yeah, it happens. Anyway, logged in, got into a chat room.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about farmer tans.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was that. I don't even want to talk much more about it. It's a little embarrassing. But, I got a farmer tan. It's something I've been cultivating for a while. Anyway, I get in the chat room, and there was a guy in there. Ernie the Second was his name, because, we've got some fans out there.
Shout out to Ernie.
We've got some fan out there.
I mean, some fan, yes.
Anyway, Ernie sent me a question. He's like, hey, I know Kenneth, can you get a question over to him?
Oh, gosh.
He doesn't respond to my emails. And I'm like, yeah, I think he's got you blocked, Ernie, too. And anyway, so Ernie gave me a question. I wrote it down here for you, and I just wanted to, if it's okay, can I just read it to you?
Would you please?
Okay, yeah. I want to get this part of the show over with. Hey, dear Mr. Bockham, hey, Kenneth, what's a guy like you doing in a nice place like this?
Well, I appreciate the question, Ernie, too, and sorry about blocking you there. At the moment, what I'm doing is I'm here to see if my superpower of invisibility works yet. I may have to, I don't know. Can you see me now?
I can see you now. I thought it was, can you hear me now?
Oh, well, that's something else.
Okay, that's a whole other thing. Well, thank you. So you're working on invisibility cloaking.
Yeah, maybe I need to consult an actual magician to see if I can make that work.
Well, if we could just find an actual magician.
If only we had a guest on our show.
I have an awful story about magicians. If we have time later, we'll talk about Siegfried and Bob.
Oh my!
We call them, like Siegfried. Like that's such a glorious name, and then Roy.
Right.
Like I got to go to one of their shows. It was embarrassing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. We're going to do that one tonight. We're going to focus on our guests tonight.
Sure.
And I'd like to introduce our guests tonight. We have Michael and Sacheen Platten here. Did I get everybody's name right?
You got it right.
Michael's hard to pronounce.
Yeah, just don't call me Michelle. I'll be.
The night is young.
Yeah.
They are the founders of www.spotlightmagic.com. They've been in Tulsa 26
years in this month.
You're in the magic business.
Magic and costume business. Spotlight Magic and Costumes. So our retail store has been in Tulsa actually since 1976.
Oh, wow.
It
So
was-
that's, what is
yes.
that, 40?
Yes, 42 years.
I'm not good at math. That's
44 years. somewhere around.
127 years.
Yeah, close.
I'll get a
Yeah,
calculator out.
Okay,
So-
so magic and costumes.
Yes, yeah, and so Spotlight Magic and Costumes was a store as a magician that I went to and would learn my tricks of the trade. So, so one time when I went in there and it happened just like this, Cash, you was talking the cloak of invisibility right here, right? It's invisible, right? Invisible, watch, just like that. So you can make
Whoa.
it visible.
Hey, I
And then
lost
you
one
can-
just like that.
Yeah, just like that. Well, here it is. I'll give it back to you.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
there you go. No,
Oh,
actually went
my
right through
goodness.
the table, just like so. Just like, here, there, you get it back. So there we go. So it's no mini practice and no social life. You can learn how to do that. So,
Yeah, I bet that's awesome at parties.
it is.
That actually
It
was
is.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, unexpected, right?
You know, I got to be near that David Blaine fella. He
Yep.
did. We were at this event. He shows up. I recognized him. I was with a bunch of guys, and he did table magic. He
Yeah.
came around to the 4 or 5 tables of fellas that were there, and
He's pretty good.
I just wanted him to stop. Like, okay, I get it. Like, I'm sorry, I can't do any more with you. So how did you get in? How did you guys get into magic?
Well, it was actually me at the very beginning as a young lad, about 8 years old. I got the magic set, and I saw a magician performing and at a church a long time ago. And I was like 5 years old, and I loved it. And then my parents got me the magic set at 8, and then I just took off from there. And there was 2 magic shops in town: Spotlight Magic and Costumes, and Top Hat Magic, and they're still around too. I always support the local small businesses, and Top Hat's still around along with Spotlight. And so just as a kid, and I just loved it and loved entertaining, just loved getting out in front of people, putting smiles on people's faces, right?
Right.
The awe of amazement. And, of course, David Copperfield was my,
Yeah.
I wish he was my mentor and everything, but he was the guy like, wow, I want to do that. And matter of fact, he's going to be making the moon disappear next month.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
Whoa.
something to keep an eye on.
How do you pull that off?
Yeah.
I don't know.
When it's a new moon, maybe.
Okay, well,
Little trick of the trade there. You might want to write that down.
So, but yeah, so it was fun just over the years, and went through college performed, just corporately for a lot of corporate events. Just I could go on and on about who I performed for, but that really doesn't matter. But really,
well, I don't know. You got any big names? Any politicians? Any
no, not really.
presidents?
3M maybe, UPS, American Airlines. I was their guy out there one year when they did their corporate party. It was a lot of fun. So,
All right.
yeah. So I mean, we did a lot of fun stuff. But no, I can't say I have really any politicians out there. Oh wait, Deborah Wimpy, Broken Arrow mayor. She's a good friend of mine.
There we
I
go.
performed.
Okay.
Yes. So,
High level. I mean, we'll take that.
Yeah.
Will you accept that, Kenneth?
I will accept that. Yes.
Okay. That's
Let the record show that I accept that.
that has been accepted. Okay, that's a winning answer.
So,
Well, very cool. Well, so Sacheen, you're here as well. Now, have you guys been in magic together the whole time? Did you marry into magic?
I married into magic. You could say that, yeah. So I actually have a degree in elementary education.
Okay.
And when Mike and I met, I was teaching. And we got married. Well, let me back up a little bit. So we were engaged when the opportunity to purchase Spotlight
Oh,
came
okay.
up.
Mhm.
What an
Uh,
opportunity.
So Mike had been going to Spotlight, like he said, since he was a child. And he went in and was talking to the owner, and she said, I'm ready to retire, and I'm gonna sell it. And I think she'd already found some people that
Mhm.
were gonna buy it,
yeah, somebody was already going to purchase it.
but they
wow.
weren't magicians. And she, I think, started thinking about that, and so then she called Mike back, I think, later and said, would you be interested in it? I think maybe I'd like it to go to somebody that has interest
Yeah,
in
that
magic.
understands the
Mhm.
craft.
Right.
Sure, for sure.
And so we were engaged a month,
Yep.
about a month.
Yep.
And Mike came and said, I'd like to do this. And I was like, well, that sounds like a fun little thing on the side. And we got married in May. And then I moved away from my job, and I really didn't want to drive. So I just started working at the shop.
Wow. Okay, so and we hadn't really planned to talk on this part, but like when you're dating the first time,
Third date, right? Third date.
I know we talked about some stuff
no,
we
that
were
was
going to
the
talk
kiss.
about, but I want to hear, like, what is it like I mean, like, how do you lead in with that? Like, hey, let's go out on a date, and by the way, I can make you disappear, or
or cut you in half.
catch
Well,
you in half,
I
right?
mean, we could talk. I could tell the story about how he proposed, and I could talk about how he caught my carpet on fire when that
Yeah,
happened.
but we won't.
Oh yeah, that's
But it's kind of a long story.
well, we've only got 3 hours here tonight, so
Right.
But I don't really remember him like doing magic constantly when we first met.
I didn't want to be that magic nerd that, because
Uh-huh.
I tried that before, it didn't work. So,
Right.
so it was kind of lead in, I did a little trick one for some friends one night, and then it was. Then she goes back home and tells her mom, and then her mom says something. Well, ask him if he knows a Del Wilson, right? Well, ironically, Del Wilson, somebody I knew as a kid growing up, and he was a magician and part of the Fellowship of Christian Magicians, and ends up being her cousin.
Oh wow, all in the family.
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
So that
yeah.
kind of helped a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, when you tell your parents that you're interested in a magician, it's.
Yeah. So I mean, That's Kenneth. I think we have to go through that. I want to hear that.
I think we do for sure.
Oh, boy.
Well, I think it really helped that he had a job, like another job.
Right.
Yeah, I sold vacuum cleaners. No,
There
that
it
was
is.
before. That's when I met her mom. Before I met her, it's true story. Yeah,
But you sold her mom a vacuum cleaner.
yeah. Well, serviced it at the church. Yeah, no, you went, and it was interesting because I go service Electrolux, right? Vacuum cleaner company, been around a long time. And my dad said, "Yeah, you're never going to make money doing that." And so that's went out and sold vacuum cleaners door to door, and we serviced different accounts. So happened to go to First United Methodist Church in Claremore, and beautiful new church they built out there and everything, and they had beautiful new carpet. And her mom, I didn't know it was her mom. She just takes me and says, "Oh, look at this, show me this." And you got to know her mom. She's just just an amazing woman. And then so I go back afterwards again, and it's like I go to her office and see a picture of Sacheen on the desk, and she goes, I asked her, I said, "Is that your daughter?" She goes, I said, "She's really pretty." She says, "Okay, that'll be enough. Let me show you out the door."
All right.
What she didn't know is
That's
he was in
great.
college.
Yeah,
at
I was
the
19 years
time,
old at the time.
and he was doing really well to
Yeah.
pay his. Only person I know that came out of college with no debt.
Well, let's talk about the business side of magic and what are the things that you guys have done to make sure that your business is successful, because you've been doing it a long time. I mean, that in and of itself is a success story that you have endured, 26 years
Mhm,
together at this
Yes.
endeavor. And I guess that's 26 years of marriage also.
26, yes, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So the bigger congratulations for that. I mean,
We just
that-
said 25. We're going on 26.
25. We round up here.
It's close. It's
We
close.
round up here at the Cash Flow Show. So what has contributed to the success?
I think that we started out pretty quickly in our business having contact with other people that owned costume shops.
Okay.
And the
I had
magic and costumes.
I had a teaching degree. He did have a business degree, but did we know about costumes? No.
Yeah, that's
I didn't
That's
know about
niche.
magic. I remember reading the magic magazines and really trying to, know more so that when people came in, magicians, I would at least know some of what they were talking about. But we became part of a group of independent costume shops that are all over the country. Um, it was, I would say, a VIP group.
right.
They were people that had for generations had shops. We were visiting with the daughter whose grandfather,
Oh, wow.
started the shop.
So that
And
big heritage
yes,
in
and
the
so
business.
we felt like, or I know Mike did too, but I felt like they knew what they were talking about. I felt like when they talked about something that I really, knew that this was maybe something I needed to change or something that I need to work on. And I think that you need that. When I see so many people that think they can just start a business and they have no guidance.
Right.
You need that.
Absolutely.
Maybe you know everything about that product, but there's so much to know.
Right.
And so we involved ourselves, and it was only a couple times a year we would sit with these people, but we would have little meetings during our market where we go look at all the new stuff, all the Halloween things. And we would sit and we would talk and We would give each other ideas. We would ask for input if we were having a problem. And they were always, it was a small enough group at that time that they were a little bit guarded at first when somebody new came on.
Right.
Mike and I were 26 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been doing this
And
half
some of
our
these
life.
people that you're hanging out with have been in it
Yes.
for a while.
They were, and so here we come in our suits. And I remember, this was 1998, 1999,
Yeah, about that.
I'm wearing
Wow.
my little pantsuit and Mike's got his suit on. We're the only ones because we had to do that in order to be taken seriously because we were so young. So we'd go to market and we'd be walking through and people would actually talk to us. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have. But we learned from them. And unfortunately, we also learned from some of them what not to do because
Yeah.
they're not in business anymore, unfortunately. Small business is hard, but I believe small business retail is hard.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
hardest because you have so much competition.
Right.
And so we watched our peers and our mentors do positive things, and then we also watched some of them not change.
Like not change with the times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stay in the status quo.
They
Basically.
kept their business the same as what they were doing or what their grandfather was doing 50 years ago, and you cannot do that.
Well, I mean, that takes us to a question about the internet. I mean, we on our last session that we did, we talked a lot about the internet and just clothing in general. I mean, what has the internet done to your industry? Because your specialty with magic, clothing with the other stuff. I mean, I'm sure the internet's had a profound impact on what you guys are doing.
Oh, it's huge on the I can talk on the magic side. It used to be there was no internet, there was no YouTube. As a magician, I couldn't just go on and look up how to do this, or I'd go to the library or I'd go to the magic shop and I'd learn how to do it. I'd go to lectures, I'd learn how to, I got taught. That's how it worked. And so from a magic standpoint, the internet's just a whole different world. People don't want to buy the stuff anymore.
Right.
So magic's a very small part of the business of what we do.
Okay.
But then you do have lots of other companies that are out there that are the magic dealers that you go to. We do a decent amount locally, but we don't do much online. Actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
we actually our website that we started in 2000. I say we were in when the internet began. People laugh about that, but it really was.
Yeah, sure.
And our website was doing really well.
Yeah, amazing.
I remember nights where we'd close the shop and I'd have like 100 packages laid out and I would have to go through and put the labels and then pack them. And then the next year we bought a building in Claremore and we opened up a second location. And mainly it was to store all of our internet things and then have a place to ship them. And we had, people there. But it came to a point where it wasn't worth it to us to sell something for wholesale prices.
Yeah.
That's what we were having to do. I'm not exactly sure still how these people are getting things, but I do know that it changes per year. Now, during COVID, we found that people were not wanting to buy online because they were really wanting to support local.
Right.
And that was great. During Christmas and New Year's, just the last couple of weeks, I was telling Mike almost every day somebody would come in and say, well, I need this or that because I bought something online and it either didn't get here or it came in and it wasn't what the picture showed.
Yeah.
Or, how can you buy a wig online? Can't see it. There's such a variety. People don't understand that. And they buy it and then they get it and they don't like it. So it is a huge competition for us.
Yeah.
But there's no customer service with the internet.
Right. Yeah. And it's that. I mean, there's the trade off. I mean, maybe you get a little bit better price, but a little worse product.
We have people that come in that say, I want to know what I'm getting. I want to be able to try it on.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. I get that.
I will say this though, with internet and map pricing nowadays, the vendors have gotten better. Even like with Amazon out there, keep map pricing better. So we're all on the same page, right?
Tell our listeners what map pricing is.
Manufactured. I'm gonna stumble. You're stunned. Put me on the spot.
It's the A stands for something good.
Yeah,
Price.
something good. Price. Yeah, it's
Oh, the
basically a
manufacturer's
price.
allowable
It's
pricing.
kind of like
Yeah.
basically you don't go below this price.
Got it.
Right. So you got MSRP, then you got the MAP price. They don't go below this price because what was happening, Amazon would just put a couple dollars over something it costs, right, for a long time. So it's gotten better. It has gotten better, but people are still relying on Amazon, Walmart, all that stuff. .com, all the .coms, right? So, so that's something that I would say over time it has impacted us, but it's gotten better. And then after COVID, which was actually, believe it or not, like she was saying, 2021, 22 was our best years.
Wow.
So it was interesting, and then 2023, we got through, but in our business, Halloween's an interesting, that's how we make our money on
Yeah.
Halloween.
We want to come back and hear about Halloween in just a moment. We're going to take a
great.
quick break so that we can say thank you to one of our sponsors.
Sure thing. Here we go. Let's talk about CM Customs today. Embark on a journey into the realm of affordable custom gifting and branded excellence with CM Customs. From custom trophies to personalized closing gifts, lake maps, drinkware, and professional branding items, we are your go-to for unmatched customization, making you the hero of every occasion. Learn more at shopcmcustoms.com.
Thank you for that, sir. Nice work.
Thank you.
We are here today with Michael and Sacheen Platten, and they are the vendors and owners of SpotlightMagic.com. Did I say that exactly right?
Spotlight Magic and Costumes, and the website Spotlight Magic.
You can find them at SpotlightMagic.com
There you go.
and Spotlight Magic and Costumes.
Yeah.
So Halloween then, because of costumes, is probably one of your biggest times.
Yep. 90, pretty much September, October, and 90% at least of our sales are done in those 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah. You think more?
No, I think a little bit less.
Oh, okay.
A little less.
There's
okay.
the boss.
It's becoming a little bit less. It used to be that way,
Yeah.
but now, unfortunately, I mean, it's good for us, but we hated to see when we first started, there were 5 costume shops
Oh,
in Tulsa,
right.
and now it's just us.
Yeah.
So is that good for business or bad for business?
I mean, it's definitely helped our business. I just hated to see, some of them were friends, so I hated to see them go. But I think that's helped our year-round business because, when Johnny comes home and needs a costume the next day for school, you
Right.
can't order that online.
Right. So how do you foster relationships then locally where people remember you?
It's there's different approaches that we have with it, right? I mean,
Right.
obviously, it's when someone comes in, we always welcome them. We always make them feel special. We have employees that do the same, but we also, from a marketing standpoint, we have another company called Signpost behind the scenes that helps us get out to our folks. We'll send out text messages, let them know about discounts and other things, so we can remind them constantly. We got an email marketing program, so we have different things to let people know. But when they're in our store, we try to make it a whole personal experience.
Right.
We want them to come back. So
Yeah, for sure.
what she's talking about, trying on the wigs with them, trying on costumes. We want to make sure everything fits perfectly right before they leave, and and we try to make it entertaining as well in the store. We call it going to the shows when we went to the VIP shows. They don't have them anymore since COVID, but
Right.
they termed it retailtainment. We want people to come in and be entertained. And, we got Zoltar. We have, during Halloween, we had in October, animatronics that come to life. So the kids, they want to play, they want to see what we have. And that's become we become an attraction, and
Right.
some of these bigger retail stores are actually one coming soon, right? Here, Shills coming in, a little plug for them, but they're going to have this huge Ferris wheel, 65-foot Ferris wheel in the middle of the store.
Did you know that?
So,
I did.
I
yeah.
did not know that.
I
So
have heard
I mean,
this.
yeah. So, but we've learned this from other stores have been successful and who are still in business by doing that. Making it just a fun experience. We even now have the Magic Attic Theater in our store, so you can see magic shows while you shop, and have magicians that come in and perform, and including myself. But usually that time of year, try to help a little bit more at the register. But we have
So they can come see a live
live
magic show
and usually when
while
it's-
they're shopping.
well, they come in,
while-
yeah.
It's funny because it's in October. We have shows all year long,
Right.
but in October on the weekend we do free shows. All afternoon into the evening. So they're short little, 15, 20-minute shows. But I notice we'll have a store full of people, and then all of a sudden it'll be empty. And then I go look and they're all in the theater.
Ah,
So,
Mm.
but what's good about that is, and then we'll have a bunch more people come in and it'll kind of spread things out to where we can handle. It's a little bit more manageable for my staff also. But then the people can go in and they can, they've been shopping. They can sit down for a few minutes. They can relax. They can take a break, and then they can get up and they can buy more. So
sounds like a
Wow.
pretty good
you know,
system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that's a
been
model.
good. And then, the rest of the year, Mike does shows. We bring people in, and the good thing is it works so well together because people sometimes have no clue we're there, but maybe they love magic and somebody's told them, "Hey, you should take your grandkids to a show." They come in, they've never been in our store before.
Wow,
So now they
Mm.
know about our costume shop.
got it.
And some people come in for costumes and don't know that we have magic shows. So it works together.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, like, we're hosting a prom here in
Yes.
2 or 3 weeks. I think it's 20s themed.
hmm
And you guys have 20s themed clothing.
We
for-
do. We
for-
have a great 20 section. That is a theme that it's all the time.
Really?
That's something that we sell. We rent dresses. We rent zoot suits. I had a lady come in from Montereau. They did a 1920s theme for New Year's Eve. So this little sweet lady comes in and got a cigarette holder and got some gloves. She
Wow.
had her own dress. She just wanted something extra. So that's what happens. They come in and they either say, "I want this specific thing," or they come in and they say, "I got to go to this party and I got to dress up.
Good.
Can you give me some help?"
Ours isn't, just for the record, ours is an adult prom because at age 62, that's what you should do, is have a prom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, what are you doing this weekend? I'm hosting a prom.
Yeah, I didn't have a good prom anyway.
Yeah, that's the number one thing people say is I had a terrible prom, or
Yeah.
like, yeah, me too. I was ugly. That's it just didn't go very well for me. So, I get a do over later in life.
Yeah, I need to get him prom tickets. You want to go to prom?
You should come
Yes,
to prom.
come.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Love to have you at the prom. So, the other magic places left.
Mhm.
They're gone. Who do you compete against now in the costume world?
Well, in Tulsa, locally, we have no competition. But in October, we
Ah,
do.
are these the pop-up tents?
So we do have several places that, over the years. So our competition in 1998 was totally different.
Right.
It was Walmart.
Oh, okay.
We were more concerned about Walmart
hmm
in 1998 because there was nothing else. There were no temporary stores. I wasn't really that concerned about the other shops in Tulsa. But then the internet started kind of becoming competition. And then I would say, what year would that have even been? Maybe 2005.
6.
The temporary stores started. So we started, I think Halloween Express was
Mhm.
maybe the
That was the
first
first
one. And then we felt like we drove them out of town, but I don't know if that's right or
I
not.
think
We
we-
like to think that.
We can say you did.
Yeah, this
we
is
did.
your show.
They
Yeah,
left.
Yeah.
We're still
This
here.
is
They
your
had-
show, and
We're
this is
still
the
here.
internet.
Thank
They
you,
had-
Tulsa.
Yeah.
They had 2 stores, I think, and we had kind of some
Yeah.
funny stories about that and
Yeah.
some advertising we did on a truck that went through their parking lot maybe by accident.
Yeah.
But
Don't
No,
do
that's
that.
called guerrilla marketing.
I
Yes.
felt like they were. It is,
Yeah.
and we learned that from our VIP group
Yep.
because it was happening all over the United States, but it didn't come to Tulsa probably till after everyone else because
Right.
that's how it works.
So these people come and put in like a pop-up place there in town for 4 or 5 weeks and out.
Yep.
They used to come in for maybe a month. Now they're coming in the end of August, middle of August,
Oh, okay.
coming in earlier because they've learned how big Halloween is. People start shopping in July. They're in our store looking.
Wow.
And
Mm.
so we had 6 or 7 different temp stores.
Yeah.
Um,
Five
You a
of them.
Halloween guy?
No, not so much.
You don't dress up?
I don't dress up. I dress up as a photographer.
Yeah. That.
Right.
Yeah, so
I
I pretty much
dress
just
up
carry
as a-
my camera.
I dress up as a grumpy guy.
Oh wow!
365.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm wearing it now actually.
Well, it's a good look.
And I love costumes, and I love watching it. My favorite Halloween costume I improvised. I went as a piece of Swiss cheese, and we were running out of time, and I took a big piece of like whatever Swiss cheese colored foam and cut a
Yeah.
hole in the top and bound it together and cut. I'm like, hey, I'm Swiss cheese.
Wow.
I had like $3 invested in that.
Yeah.
Hey, it worked, right? So
Interesting.
I wouldn't say that it worked.
no,
Yeah,
you didn't. You had that cheese touch, right?
yeah, it was cheesy. Yeah, okay, that was
This
cool.
last season, we had Spirit Halloween was a mile in each direction, 3 directions
Oh,
from
they
us.
set up all around you.
You had three.
So I
three
kind of
alarms.
felt like it was a chess game.
Right.
But we did okay. We still survived it, and I always tell people when they come in, it's like, man, there's some spirits over there. There's spirit, and I say, hey, but here we have more spirit than our competition, so you're at the right place. So.
We
There
got
it
spirit.
is.
Yes, we
Yes,
do.
we do.
Very
So-
cool. So, tell me about the day-to-day operation of your business, because there's not a manual for running a magic show
No.
or a magic store. There's not a manual. Well, maybe for a costume store there is, but
Well,
what's that like? Who runs it?
I'm actually invisible most of the day, only because I have a full-time job with I'm in business development at UPS.
Okay.
And so, but I do that full time,
Right.
and then I do the marketing for Spotlight, and then for the Magic Attic Theater, I do the shows. I bring in the talent that we actually as far as the Magic Attic Theater side of things. We have magicians from all over the world that'll come in and lecture and perform. We got somebody coming from one of the Poland, and let's see, is it in February? His name's Radek Hoffman. He's one of the top mentalists in the world,
Wow.
coming in our little theater, right? So, so that side of things, the marketing on that part, the marketing of the shop, Facebook advertising, just anything I can get out, that's what I do. And then she does everything else for the costume store. And
Right.
I'm the brawn and he's the beauty.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about the beauty. That's,
All right.
that's not
I do. And my I have employees, but I'm thinking I'm about to lose my but yeah, it's been a learning process for sure.
Oh, I
for
imagine.
me. Going from 26th graders to managing this shop.
Well, do you
But-
still have the VIP group, the people that you can go to that
a few.
that you
A
get
few.
data
we have them, we can always call people, but they don't do the show anymore that they
Yeah.
did,
from?
unfortunately. So,
And part
Yeah.
of that is because our mentor, Joe Stevens, he just passed away this last year. That's part of it. But, the other part, the other company that he was part of got, sold out and bought, sold. So that's part of it as well. But we definitely are still a group of us kind of keep connected, but not as well connected.
Right.
And I thought about how can we bring that back, right? And maybe it's a different way. But obviously, even working with other businesses locally, that's something, that's what I love about the Bond Group, right?
Right.
Well, I know we're just now getting to know about it, getting into it, but, be able to work locally with businesses because we
Yeah.
can be that mentor to some other businesses.
Yeah, and it makes sense that you would make local connections with people that are local.
Right.
That's why we keep the group completely local,
hmm
and we're glad to have local people like you.
Right.
And I mean, this is fascinating to me that you have because I got one of those magic kits when I was a kid, and like
still
I
have
was.
it?
No, I wish I did. I was
Probably
not,
worth something then.
that would have been the highest value of it.
Because I'm a collector. That's why I was asking.
Oh, okay.
he
Well,
doesn't need more magic. So
oh,
he
I-
doesn't need more.
it's like bicycles. Everybody needs another bicycle.
that's right.
I collect bicycles.
Well, day to day, though, I guess back to that question, for us, it's so it it relies on what's going on in this community,
Right.
Mhm.
which sometimes we don't know. Like the lady from Monroe. So I try to when people come in, I try to ask them, well, what are you doing? Like, what event are you? And then we know, not only does it help me with figuring something out for them, but it also tells me, hey, I need to maybe prep a little bit because
Mm.
if this is the first person I've seen,
Mhm.
if depending on the party, and I usually ask, hey, is this a big party? Is it a small? I try and be nosy.
Sure.
Sometimes I don't.
Yeah, about this bong prom. Is this going to be a big party or is it?
About 100 people.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
There was a poll done online today. Like, how
Now
many
you
people
know.
of you
Yeah.
have bought your dress?
Yeah.
Or in my
Nice.
case, not dress.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I didn't
Well,
get a dress.
Well,
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we have them.
No.
We have them.
we probably have them for you, Cash, if you
Yeah.
want to try the dress part of it.
Sometimes we
Well-
have to get pretty. We had a party back right after Halloween that was like an alien theme, and it was or space. I think it was just space, and it was for a school, like a charity function. So we had a lot of people coming in. We started just like, we're getting kind of starting to really have to look for things that are kind of reach, like
Right.
that maybe people wouldn't think Star Trek or that's an easy thing, but like lame leggings, like silver lame leggings, something shiny, for aliens. So that's what we have to do. So we're constantly changing the shop. We change for every holiday. People don't think that, but people do dress up for Valentine's Day. Maybe they just we have a big red heart, that they
Right.
can put over. We have hats, so there's holidays. So we change after Christmas, we start changing. Then we go into Mardi
Mardi Gras
Gras,
coming up. Mhm.
Easter, July 4th, people want to be Uncle Sam. So you've got to constantly,
Yeah.
and then, like I said, these little things that come up that are sometimes it's like the weirdest thing that I'm trying to even think. There was a Shrek rave.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Wow.
was, yeah.
Why wouldn't there be?
So,
Of course. Yeah, it makes sense.
Never heard
I
of it.
mean, and that's so, so you just have to kind of think, okay, what do I have that I can pull over here for people to,
Wow.
What's interesting is cosplay is huge now, right?
Yeah, my daughter does that.
Anime, cosplay, and that's made the industry grow more. So that's helped us on the outside of the October, which is kind of cool.
Right, so year round, you
Yeah,
have
year
people doing
round, yeah,
cosplay, and
yeah.
we've been to all the different cons where people dress up.
Yes.
And I mean, frankly, my daughters first told me about that. I had no interest until I went to one of the
It's
cons, and I walked around for a couple hours, and what I saw was a giant group of odd, wonderfully brilliant, talented people that
They
are just
are.
doing their thing.
yeah,
They are.
Yeah.
And they usually
know?
make their costumes,
right.
Right.
but they'll come to us for makeup, maybe a wig, some accessories.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and they love costumes. So
Well, I
it's
ended up
fun.
loving it. My younger daughter has been to several,
Mhm.
and I'd take her, and I'm good with it. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
It's
let's talk about the Magic Theater.
right.
Okay, I mean that's part of your business.
Yes.
How does that relate to the rest of your business? I mean so really your three businesses: your live performance, your costumes, and your magic.
Right.
How does the theater impact the overall
The
business?
theater's newer, right? So
Right.
it's really been interesting because at first when my friend Rick and he just got out of the hospital, almost died of COVID, and he basically said, I don't know what we're supposed to do, Mike, but we're supposed to do something great together. I said, let's do it, because I was praying for him the whole time, and
Sure.
he survived. And so one night we come back from an event, and we go in there. We're at 5 o'clock in the morning taping this whole area where we're going to put this theater. Then she comes in the next morning. She goes, "What's this?" And I said, "That's where we're putting the new theater." She
Oh
goes,
wow!
and over my
So
dead
you
body.
taped out the footprint of the new theater?
Yes, inside the store. So,
Well, yeah.
but it was a dream. I was like, well, we just together. I had a vision of it, and as Rick did too. And then I talked to Sacheen about it, and we taught, said, okay, we did this, and we did grid wall and all this different things.
So I'll
Okay,
just tell the real story
Oh,
here.
Yeah,
here comes the real story.
Let's get to the real story
I was
here.
hoping I could talk long enough where we
We
didn't get to
actually
the real
did
story.
discuss
You almost
it.
wore her down.
We did discuss it first. So we had about 5,000, 6,000 rental costumes.
Yes. Yeah.
And rental has become as costumes that you can purchase and bags have become better quality for cheaper. People aren't wanting to rent costumes as much.
Oh.
When we first started, it was hard to find a nice Renaissance costume for $45. Now you can. So people would rent them back then. Now, now they're like, well, I might as well buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So we still do rentals, but I didn't need 6,000 of them. So we decided, I said, okay, you can have some space where the rental area is. Then they came in and taped it off. And I came in
Okay.
and I saw much larger area than I had expected. And I said, I'll admit I was pretty mad because this was my space, but it has worked out.
Right.
Because the walls are actually grid wall. On one side, I can hang things. So the whole outside wall of the theater, I now have product hanging.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and the inside's curtain. All
The
this.
inside is
Yeah.
nice curtain. You don't feel like you're in a store. You're
Mhm.
you're in a little. To me, it's almost like just like a little nightclub almost
Yeah.
inside. I know it's not, but it's just like almost like a little old time nightclub.
You ever heard Tony Mason here in Tulsa?
I have not.
Tony was on the Voice back in 2020, and he's an amazing vocalist. And
Right.
he says one of his favorite places to perform. He's very well known. Yeah,
Wow.
so here in Tulsa, and
The Magic Attic Theater.
yeah.
All
So
right.
and so we just like say we started doing the shows out of there and bringing in people, and it's just it's opened doors in places we never thought. And one of my goals, and we're hoping this will happen, that we're making connections. I've got friends in Vegas who are pretty high up there,
Right.
that know, the secret roids, and of course they're not here, right, but the Penn
Right.
and Tellers and
Wow.
the Copperfields and all that. So our goal is, maybe connect with the, I'm on a call each week with the Magic Castle in Hollywood, and we got different theaters across the United States to try to get a network of theaters so magicians can go across the United States and perform from East Coast to West Coast.
What a great
And
idea.
yeah, so
Cool.
that's one of my goals and dreams, and we're working on to do that.
Well, I
So
hope you make that happen.
yeah. So anyway,
All right.
yeah.
Well, we are here with Michael and Sacheen Platten, and their website is spotlightmagic.com. Spotlight Magic and costumes locally here in Tulsa. Spotlightmagic.com to find out pertinent information. And I think it's just a better way to have more fun.
Yeah, it is.
They've got the Magic Attic Theater
Mm-hmm.
and so it's kind of a combo business, and you can go find a costume to buy or rent, and you can buy
And you
magic
can buy
supplies.
magic supplies, and we also can come to you and do magic shows, or we even have inflatables and
And
entertainment
we do
side.
birthday parties.
Yeah, we do birthday parties.
Ooh.
We do a
All
lot
right.
of other things that didn't get to, but we definitely
It'd
can
probably best just to come and have a tour or go look
That's
online.
right. Just come in
Yes.
store. Come in the store.
I think we need
Yeah.
to get over there at some
Yeah.
point.
Sounds like fun.
Okay, I'll set it up.
All right.
I'll have your people call my people.
Yes.
But you are my people.
Well, I mean,
Okay, we'll just chat about it then.
okay.
So very cool. A couple more things here real quick. And before we wrap up, we're going to get a little bit more about you and your beliefs. And we're going to get a golden nugget of information that you would like to share. And that's really the nature of this show, is to share what we know and have learned. So let's wrap this up. So if you could give some advice to somebody else in any entrepreneurial world, I mean, you guys have been through it. Can we just say that?
Absolutely.
And here you are, you've been through it, you've survived in business, you've survived in marriage. What kind of advice would you give?
Oh gosh. I would say, when it comes to the magic side of me, why I do the magic and everything, and just the love of what I do, right, is to be able to share that with others. To be able to bring that enjoyment to other people, and show them that you care about them, right, and never to miss an opportunity to do great things. And I guess that would be my little golden nugget
Yeah.
of advice. And I know
Okay.
Sacheen probably has some.
So,
nugget
Sheen,
of-
what else do you have for us on the golden nugget side?
My golden nugget is every day. I think I've got to find new cheese.
New cheese.
Ooh.
Okay.
So that is an expression taught to me by Joe Stevens, who was a great mentor to us and owned a magic shop and costume shop. And that's what he always said, find new cheese. So find something to change or elevate your business
Right.
constantly. And,
Yeah.
and that's the only way I believe that you can survive.
All right. Find new cheese.
All right. Now I'm hungry.
I was triggered a while ago. Well, guys, thank you. This was a great show for us. We hope this podcast illuminates who you guys are, and then also to our listeners and watchers and those who find us in other forms, that you would learn a lot from people who've been in business successfully for 26 years, and maybe some marriage advice as well. We think that is awesome. So, Kenneth, you ready to wrap this up?
Let's do it.
All righty. Well, thank you
you,
guys
guys.
for being here.
Thank you.
Thank
And we are excited that our listeners and viewers would learn from the people out in the community doing great things. And we hope that that brings value to our sponsors, Elevate Coworking, and to Kenneth Bauckham Photography, cmcustoms.com, and joinmfp.com. We thank you all for your support in bringing this wonderful podcast to life. And as we wrap up, remember a couple of things. Be nice to each other. Make friends with each other. And just today, if you want to really change the world, find somebody who does not deserve forgiveness and forgive them anyway. Forgiveness is not about them. It's better for you, and not to have to carry that weight around in this world. And I want to say a special thank you to our friends over in Shawnee, Oklahoma, the four of you who keep on logging in. And to the three of you who log on Facebook and continue to like mine and Kenneth's posts on a daily basis, we wanted to let you guys know that we are heading down to the Quick Trip. Red Bull's on sale, and we're staying up till midnight. All right, you guys have a great day, and thank you so much for tuning in to Cashflows.
That's our show for today. Stay tuned for another riveting edition of Cashflows.